You see all the little microscopic things floating around in the air? Just look where we're above the light. You can't see this by the naked eye, but it's all in the air. And you look around and you see all this, and this is what it is. The government poisoning us day by day, putting this shit in the air that you can't even see. But if you take the time to look, you'll see all the little microscopic nanoparticles that we're breathing in on a daily basis. If this was nighttime, you'd see millions of these little things. But because it's daytime, we just blow it off as fog in the air. This shit is crazy. Like, this is Los Angeles, bro. This is wild, man. Like, for real? Where does shit come from? Like, this is crazy.
It's foggy out here. It's super foggy out here.
Investigation into a secret government experiment that was carried out in St. Louis. Residents tell us they still remember a mysterious fog. Children would run through it. Mothers would try and close their windows against it. For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army now admits that it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen, on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people. Critics say this was done with no warning and no consent. Well, tonight we return to the site of that demolished neighborhood and speak with former residents who believe the government turned them into human test subjects. Although the Army admits that the test happened, it is not admitted to harming the residents. News Nation's Natasha Zuvez investigates what was in the fog and why the truth may still be buried.
We're having this weird fog again, and it smells. It smells like a mix between paint thinner and chemically. I don't even know. But yeah, it doesn't smell good. It just smells bad. Oof. What is going on? Why? Can't even see the mountain. It's so foggy. And at the end of the street, oof.
The fog over LAX is so bad, you just hear the plane. You can't even see the lights. It's going right over us. You can't even see it. That's a runway right there. It's crazy.
Strange fog with chemical smell in the Pacific Northwest. Is your city or state having strange fog?
What's going on with this fog? Why are so many people getting sick? Why are there planes going down? Why, as soon as Congress says that there's UAPs in the ocean or a presence in the ocean, and then we're seeing drones in the sky and orbs in the sky, this fog comes out of nowhere and covers it all. What is above the fog is what I want to know. TikTok, this is all alleged. None of this is real. It's satire. Don't ban. Oh yeah, y'all, make sure you follow my YouTube just in case TikTok actually gets banned. I'm gonna put it right here. But don't y'all find this funny? And isn't it crazy how so many people are starting to feel sick around the world? And this fog just popped up out of nowhere. Like, I even saw it. The other day when I was coming home from work, I tried to record it, but you couldn't see it on the phone too well because it wasn't as thick as other parts of the world. But it didn't look like just any fog, and it had that smell, like almost like after firework. And of course, it's right before New Year, where everyone actually is going to be popping off fireworks. So they're not going to know the difference between the fireworks fog and the fog. I don't know about y'all, but it seems a little suspicious. And I genuinely don't know what's going to happen next. But one thing about it, God did not give us a spirit of fear. So I'm going to just keep trucking on through the day. But I do have one question. When can we stop paying bills? The government's trying to tell us that these are aliens. Are the aliens going to pay the bills? Asking for a friend. Anyway, as always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below what you think the fog is all about.
The fog drifted through the streets like a ghost.
That's exactly what it looked like, a thick fog.
It was summertime and it was hot. We would just run through it as fast as we could and try to just cool ourselves off. It stuck to you.
The spray was so foul as far as the odor. It made some of us have headaches, nausea, dizziness.
That's what I remember. It made me sick.
It wasn't the weather. It was an eerie smoke descending from rooftops, rolling from the backs of trucks.
Regular flatbed truck, but it had a big machine on the back. And it had a big nozzle that really sprayed a fog you couldn't even see through. It was that thick, and it really, we felt it as it would adhere to our skin. And as far as the guys on top of the buildings, they tried to portray them to us as maintenance workers. But we was like, what is a maintenance worker doing? And basically a hazmat suit. And they had masks and goggles.
In the 1950s and 60s, in secret, the U.S. Army sprayed zinc cadmium sulfide into the air of a St. Louis housing project, a largely black neighborhood called Pruitt-Igoe.
It was a lose-lose situation for us in Pruitt-Igoe. We were subjects.
They didn't ask for our permission. We didn't ask for them to spray us. My government used me like I was a guinea pig.
We're standing at where Pruitt-Igoe used to be here in St. Louis, and it's hard to believe more than 10,000 people used to live here. As we bring our drone up, you can see it's mostly just an empty lot now, overgrown with trees. This used to be filled with 33 high-rise buildings. It was all demolished in 1976. And according to the National Research Council, St. Louis was chosen for spraying experiments because it had similar characteristics to Soviet targets like Moscow in terms of population density and terrain and proximity to a river.
The government now admits to a secretive series of Cold War tests, including one dubbed Large Area Coverage. More than 30 tests conducted across the U.S. and Canada, spraying zinc cadmium sulfide from planes, rooftops, and vehicles to simulate how a biological attack might spread, all to prepare for potential warfare against the Soviets.
Many of us been in the military and had top secret clearances. We know how it works.
We have died for America. We have fought for America.
You are a veteran.
I am United States Air Force veteran.
Dr. Starks, you're a veteran as well, isn't
Yes, I am. I'm an Air Force veteran also.
Is there a sense of betrayal here?
Definitely.
They want to know if those secret tests have anything to do with what they're observing with their own eyes.
I lost my two older siblings to cancer. I lost a brother last month.
I've been diagnosed recently with a rare form of lymphoma.
I had cancer of the left kidney, had partial removal of my left kidney.
News Nation reached out to the Army for answers. They provided a one-page response.
I was not gonna make a video on this, but
what the fuck is up with all this fog? Like, why is it so foggy outside?
And like, is it just me or did y'all feel an energy shift after Christmas, because I definitely didn't. It felt like a very draining and tiring energy. Like I felt very tired, but I couldn't sleep. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but there was definitely a shift, and all this fog all around is just weird to me because this is not just here. I'm seeing many other people post about this fog, so it's just, I don't know what the hell they got going on, but I'm definitely not in no state of fear or anything. I'm staying in the energy of love, but this shit is definitely weird because I like foggy scenery, but this shit is giving me a weird vibe.
This isn't a cloud, it's a sinking toxic fog. But why is it falling from the sky? Because the air higher up is more humid than at ground level. Aerosol pollutants floating in the upper atmosphere absorb moisture and swell, transforming from dry particles into heavy, wet clumps. In the early morning, as the atmosphere cools and heat escapes, these clumps begin to condense and slowly sink. So it's best to stay away from clouds like this.
The fog is back in different parts of the United States, and it looks like it's even thicker than last time. This was taken in Los Angeles, and you can see that the fog looks like fluffy clouds almost just over the city. As you can see, the fog looks really strange. And this dude here was saying his experience with the fog, that him and his family were experiencing headaches ever since the fog rolled in. And this is another video from Myrtle Beach, and you can see the fog particles, which is very strange for fog because you normally don't see fog looking like this. It looks like snow or something. Now, I don't know what these colors in the sky are. These could be from drones or something like that, or maybe some of the orbs that we've seen in the past. This was another video that was taken just last night in Los Angeles. Definitely would be careful while driving in this fog. You literally cannot see through it whatsoever. But the craziest thing was the lights that were being shown in the sky, just like the ones we saw in the video the other guy took. Here's another perspective. We have no idea what these are just as of yet.
¡Oh, look at this split y todo!
It says the Army's own Center for Health Promotion and Preventive Medicine investigated in 1994 and found inhalation exposure would not pose a health risk. They also cite later corroborating reviews, including a 1997 review by the National Research Council. Perhaps they assumed we wouldn't read the NRC's 380-page report, but we did, and the Army's statement doesn't show the full picture. In that 1997 review, the National Research Council explicitly says repeated exposure to zinc cadmium sulfide can cause kidney or bone toxicity or lung cancer if levels are high enough. And they admitted they couldn't fully assess the risk. Why? Because some Army records remain classified, it says, for national security reasons. More troubling, key Army exposure records were missing, and when the NRC asked the Army to supply them, the Army said it couldn't find them. Finally, the NRC considered conducting its own study, but concluded it wasn't feasible. In short, it did not test the site, collect samples, or test residents, and they didn't have access to all the data. Their review was based on what the Army gave them, and what the Army either could not find or withheld. The Army ends its statement to News Nation by saying, quote, none of the reports contained evidence of a radioactive component to the zinc cadmium sulfide dispersion tests. Residents say the secrecy and delays are no accident.
They're waiting us out.
They're waiting on all of us to die.
But that's not even the whole story, as residents demand to know what else could have been in that spray.
They have not come clean with what was in there.
Do you believe that it was just zinc cadmium sulfide in that spray?
No.
No.
We go to the source, a researcher who has spent decades declassifying government documents about these tests.
Do you believe the U.S. government sprayed some kind of radioactive material on the residents of St. Louis?
I believe that they did.
And the government's surprising response to our request to declassify information.
I mean, what the hell?
Plus, renowned activist Erin Brockovich weighs in.
Do you think there's been a lie here, a cover-up here?
It sure looks that way.
The residents are asking for an apology from the government for being experimented on. They are asking for compensation for health studies for themselves and their children. They're also asking for transparency. They want the government to release all the documents about the spraying. So, Elizabeth, tomorrow night on your show, we will go on a journey to try to declassify the one government document that a key researcher tells us she has never been able to expose. And we take the investigation to Erin Brockovich. For the residents still here, still fighting, the question is whether they will get any answers before it's too late. Elizabeth.
Well, they'll have a better chance of it with you on the case. Natasha Zuvez, thank you so much.
What does the fog is coming even mean? I keep seeing it everywhere. Is it like some horror movie coming out? Like, is it like a new game coming out? Genuinely trying to figure out why this is trending on TikTok.
Something tells me that this is not just regular fog. There are particles floating around. We wore masks just to be on the safe side. See the particles. What the hell is that?
Creep on in, on in, on in.
Something is just not right at all. At this point, we gotta get to the bottom of what the fuck is going on. Fog is a natural occurrence. Don't get me wrong. But fog that we've been getting is not normal. You gotta get to the bottom of this. This shit crazy, fool. It's not just happening in America. It's happening all over the globe. And it's not only for one day. The UK been experiencing this shit for 6 days in a row. And on top of that, people been getting sick too. And they can't explain the sickness. And this lady got a question because it was just fog in Texas and this what happened to her pool.
Okay, calling in all reinforcement. Need your help on this one. My friend who lives in East Texas woke up today and this is
look at that.
Now she's lived in this property for over 11 years.
11 years.
Never has had anything like this happen before. No, she did not change the chemical regimen in her pool. The only thing that she says that was kind of weird was there was some really odd fog yesterday.
It's the fog.
I tried to look it up too. I can't find anything that would lead to anything like this.
What is that, y'all?
Video. This is what it looks like. And this is not snow. We've been doing this for months. We come outside at night and take a video. Here, there. That's what it looks like up close. You can say it's snow if you want, but we've been doing this for months and months. It moves rapidly sideways. Look at that. And sometimes when we blow on it, our breath is fluorescent yellow. Watch. You can't tell, but we have another video where it does that. Anyway. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what they're putting, look at that. I don't know what they're putting in this guy. It's going up. Snow doesn't go up. You know?
In part one of our News Nation investigation last night, we uncovered a mysterious fog that once drifted through a St. Louis neighborhood, one that residents still remember decades later.
It made some of us have headaches, nausea, dizziness.
They didn't ask for our permission. We didn't ask for them to spray us. My government used me like I was a guinea pig.
They're waiting us out.
They're waiting on all of us to die.
The government admits it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen, critics say without warning and without consent. They sprayed it on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people, but now years later, residents are getting sick, some with rare forms of cancer, and they're asking what else might be hidden from them. Specifically, what else could have been in that spray? News Nation's Natasha Zubas picks up the investigation from here.
We're on our way to meet with a researcher right now who has dedicated her career, decades, to declassifying documents and trying to figure out what exactly happened here in the city of St. Louis and what exactly was in that spray. Across the country, the government conducted secret Cold War experiments in plain sight.
It was so secretive that we're really just now sort of digging out from underneath this to try to understand the scale of it.
And Dr. Lisa Martino-Taylor helped uncover many of them.
We know that they were giving radioactive cocktails to pregnant women. We know that they were feeding radioactive oatmeal to children in state schools. They've admitted to those things, and they won't release the material related to St. Louis.
It's true. American children in state-run institutions like the Fernald School were fed radioactive oatmeal as part of studies by MIT sponsored by the Atomic Energy Commission. You can see some of the documents Dr. Martino-Taylor worked to gather and declassify on MIT letterhead describing experiments on human subjects. The children, some of them orphans, were told they'd be joining a science club. They were promised a quart of milk a day, a trip to a baseball game, to the beach. A copy of the 1994 congressional hearing shows those children, now grown, describing being told the oatmeal was just vitamins and recalling the health problems that followed: lumps on my arms, my stomach. Pregnant women were also unknowingly given radioactive iron at top hospitals in Tennessee and California to study how radiation crossed the placenta, some later reporting miscarriages, illness, or birth defects. A class action lawsuit resulted in a settlement in the 90s.
Do you believe the U.S. government sprayed some kind of radioactive material on the residents of St. Louis?
I believe that they did. There's so much contextual evidence that points that way, and I spent years looking at this.
She says her research reveals the men who designed and oversaw the St. Louis experiments were some of the top experts in radioactive weapons.
We know that the people who designed the study, who oversaw the study, these were all the radiological weapons experts who were looking at open-air radiological weapons.
One of them, Brigadier General William Creasy, was head of the Army Chemical Corps, the very branch leading America's secret radiological weapons program during the Cold War. He brought in a scientist named Philip Layton, who was the Army's leading authority on using radioactive particles in aerosol form, fog-like clouds designed to drift over enemy terrain.
So the very man who designed this spraying experiment in St. Louis was an expert in using radioactive fog against the enemy.
Yes, he was the expert. The expert.
Tell us about what's in the fog, Brian.
Yeah, so what we were just sharing was a reference, and yes, it is true. DARPA, the Department of Defense's research arm in developing weapons and technology, they have been developing various forms of nanotech and warfare, creating and dissolving fogs. And this has been documented in documents found, read, referenced all over the internet, and particularly at the government's website. So what's in this fog? Well, there's fog. I've actually seen the same fog you reported this morning in your area. We had that throughout Dallas last week, and it was all over California when I was there 2 weeks ago. And oh my goodness, my wife, my book strategist, I came down with a couple days with symptoms, but they had some very distressful and very stressful respiratory symptoms that mimicked every single symptom you hear related to the flu, to COVID-19, and to pneumonia. Absolutely, it is published. They can spread parasites via the air, particularly eggs of parasites, including fluke parasites, protozoa parasites, and nematodes. They can do that through the air, and yes, that can make us sick, and yes, parasites are known to cause pneumonia. Not only that, did you know that parasite egg sacs in the lungs are actually misdiagnosed as lung cancers often, and it's already been published? So yes, this is a very, very detrimental thing, but I would like to educate your audiences on something else. The fog itself, I would look at more concerns about a technology owned by UC Berkeley and MIT called smart dust technology. And there are documents that DARPA has been using and strategizing to use this form of nanotech in the air to make human beings and mammals connected to the cloud by inhaling nanoparticles in these fogs. And you're looking at a document from the government, from DARPA, illustrating weather modification plans by the year 2025, which is this year, documenting they can create fog and make fog disappear using weather modification technologies, including smart dust technology.
Low visibility in spots due to some dense morning fog.
Tonight we've got fog along the river and into western Iowa, zero visibility.
Which is being impacted not only by the fog that still seems to be fairly dense at this hour.
Outside Heathrow Airport, the air traffic control tower is barely visible. Emerging from the fog, this plane is one of the flights that made it.
Breaking news, there have been foggy skies throughout the whole United States of America. It's been foggy for weeks now. Some people believe that this is all geoengineering. Some people may ask, what is geoengineering? I can't even explain that myself. Now, another theory is that they don't want you to see this galactic battle that is taking place in the sky. Now, I don't know which one is true, but it have been harder to see in the skies lately. In my city, you can barely see the airplanes in the sky. That's how dark my sky is. And out of nowhere, everybody is coming down with this mysterious sickness. Here recently, a lot of people been having high fevers and catching different flus. Could this mysterious strange fog be making people sick? Make sure y'all are detoxing your bodies from these heavy metals, family. I have a family member who have been catching the chills. Hot 1 minute, cold the next.
Look, what the heck is this stuff? The weather says it's fog. This is not fog. It looks like powder in front of my lens. It's not fog, and I live in Ohio. There's no fires. It's like 50, 60 degrees, and it's horrible. I've never seen fog that looks like this. It's definitely not snow. Don't think it's ashes or anything like that. Not to be confused with the smoke. You can't even see up there. It's weird. It ain't no fog I've ever seen, though. Literally looks like snow, whatever it is, and it keeps changing directions. I think it's pollution, not the smoke. Stop it. Look at it. It's not that moist in Ohio. Weird. What do you guys think? Not fog. I wish it would show up on the camera how it actually looks. Look, it's like fog without the flash. It's not fog. It's the end of the world as we know it. Oops. It's even clear. Like, if it's foggy, shouldn't it at least be not clear? I don't know. I'm not a weather expert, but... Look at UFO. Just kidding, it's a once.
Parece una mujer gigante.
Cloud-like object floating in my street.
Then she says there's the timing.
They were looking for a city to test their offensive weapons program. They wanted to do it. They expressed this in documents. St. Louis was their chosen city. That was their analog city to Moscow. And they wanted to do this in 1953. And they showed up in 1953 in St. Louis.
But there's one document Dr. Martino Taylor has never been able to unearth. It's still classified. The Joint Quarterly Reports detail the spraying experiments, all written by Layton himself. The last one is missing. It's called Joint Quarterly Report 5, and we tried to get it. Our team filed a Freedom of Information Act request on May 5th of 2025. By law, the government must respond to a FOIA within 20 working days. But it's been more than 3 months with multiple follow-ups. Nothing. The silence is what's called a constructive denial, and renowned activist Erin Brockovich says it reminds her of cases where the truth was hidden.
So, Erin, what is your reaction to this News Nation investigation? Did this shock even you?
Absolutely. I think my comment was, are we WTF the kidding me? I mean, what the hell? It's awful. I mean, the biggest thing, and I've learned in 30 years, is it's always the cover-up that enrages people, that hurts people. And I've learned that communities can handle the truth. What they don't handle and where they'll tip a scale is the lie. So this has been a cover-up, and I think that modern-day agencies owe it to them, the truth.
Do you think there's been a lie here, a cover-up here?
It sure looks that way.
Our investigation now drawing attention from lawmakers, including Congressman Wesley Bell of Missouri.
When American citizens have been impacted and exposed to chemicals specifically because of the federal government, I think that we should do, as Democrats and Republicans, we should all do the right thing, make certain to make these folks whole again, get them the compensation they deserve and the treatment that they need and also deserve.
It can happen to you. Don't get duped that it can't happen to you. We didn't think it was going to happen to us. We was babies, kids. It can happen to you, too.
Representative Bell is now fighting to get Pruitt-Igoe included in the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. That would provide payouts to Americans who can prove they were exposed to radiation during the Cold War. But for Pruitt-Igoe residents, there's a catch. Because key records remain classified, they haven't been able to prove what they were exposed to.
What do you want everyone to know about what happened here?
The truth. Whatever the truth is, we want to know the truth. I don't think we're getting it now.
In the meantime, residents say all they can do is wait, hoping someone finally listens.
When will you give up this fight?
Never. Till I'm cold and dead and buried in my grave.
And Elizabeth, we asked the Army point blank, was there a radioactive component to that spray? It's interesting that they didn't just say no. Rather, they said, quote, none of the reports contained evidence of a radioactive component, pointing us to reports like a review by the National Research Council. But Elizabeth, a close read of that report shows even the NRC admitted they could not fully assess the risk of the spraying, because when they asked the Army for key records, the Army replied the documents were either classified or they were missing. The Army could not find them. And Elizabeth, I have to tell you, these residents feel the government is waiting them out. The people you just heard from last night and tonight are the ones who are still here, who are well enough to speak. One woman we were supposed to meet with died before we could get to her. She was suffering from multiple cancers. Her daughter asked us to keep going, and we will keep pushing for information, including those classified documents, Elizabeth.
All right, Natasha Zuva, stay on the case. Thank you so much for that investigation.
People all over have been reporting this mystery fog. So this fog has been showing up in several states across the US and even in the UK, Europe, Australia, and probably other places. And something doesn't seem right about it. And we all know what fog is, right? But many people are saying this isn't like a normal fog. It seems to roll into populated areas and will linger around for days on end. And you can see in videos like these that there seems to be some kind of particulate in them. People are also reporting that this fog has a metallic or chemical smell to it, and others are even saying it leaves a strange residue after it goes away. And many people have also reported feeling sick with sore throats, burning eyes, or just general malaise after getting exposed to it. There are some theories that there may be something else going on here that might be connected with those objects in the sky that we're not supposed to talk about. Some are connecting this to a 1920 patent technology to generate an artificial fog, and who knows how advanced that's become in the last 100 years. But one of the wilder and more concerning theories I've heard suggests that this fog contains something called smart dust. And this is a real thing. It's nanotechnology developed in the 1990s. Basically little robots or sensors the size of a grain of sand that can collect, process, and send data wirelessly wherever they are.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
You can't see shit out here. It smelled like smoke out here. Like this shit, I've never seen this shit in my life. Like, I can't even see in front of me. Like, I can't. Fuck.
Avoid breathing in the fog if you live in the South. They have found Serratia marcescens, a bacteria known to cause pneumonia, UTIs, and other illnesses, floating in the fog. What if the government released this? I mean, that's perfectly within the scope of what they've been doing recently with the hard drives and the taking away people's rights. I mean, it's just alleged, It could just be a natural occurrence. I mean, Florida has had an outbreak of this going on for the past couple of years. It's just funny that the symptom that one encounters whenever they come across this bacteria is spreading among the South. Do you hear me? Do you hear how nasally I am? When I go outside and go to work every morning, I have to drive through the fog. And I have had the worst case of sniffles. Just remember our favorite Wendigoon quote here on Rad Radical. You wouldn't think the government would do that, right? But be careful. Maybe wear a mask if it's foggy. Sanitize your hands, wash your face. And remember, government tampering is just a game theory.
The fog is like sleep medicine. Do not go outside. It is not normal. The second you step into it, your body will start to shut down. Eyes just feel heavy. Get into your insides and make you start coughing. It's not safe. Stay inside. Close your windows. Don't let it get in. This isn't natural. Something is wrong with the fog.
For centuries, fog has hidden armies, changed the outcome of battles, and cloaked the movement of nations. But what if fog wasn't just natural? What if it was engineered, unleashed as a weapon of war? From ancient weather lore to Cold War experiments and Vietnam cloud seeding, history reveals a chilling truth. Controlling the skies has always been seen as controlling power itself. Today, we revisit the secret history of weather as warfare, and the question that lingers. Could it happen again? In the 1830s, meteorologist James P. Espy imagined triggering rainfall by lighting massive fires across mountain ranges, believing smoke and heat would spark convection storms. While his theory about rising warm air was scientifically valuable, his rainmaking plan was ridiculed. Nathaniel Hawthorne even mocked him as a dreamer in the Hall of Fantasy. By the 1890s, Robert Dyrenforth tried blasting explosives in the Texas Panhandle to end droughts. He reported success when rain followed, but critics noted there were no measurements to prove his explosions caused it. Fast forward to the Vietnam War. The U.S. military launched Operation Popeye, a cloud seeding mission to extend monsoons and flood enemy supply routes. This was one of the first deliberate uses of weather as a weapon. During the Cold War, scientists and militaries experimented with weather modification as a strategic tool. Concern over climate weapons grew so great that in 1977, nations signed the ENMOD Treaty, banning hostile environmental modification. From Espy's fires to modern geoengineering proposals, history shows a repeating cycle: bold promises, unproven science, and dangerous ambitions. The fascination remains. Can humans truly master the skies, or are we doomed to repeat old mistakes? The fog has always been with us, sometimes a shield, sometimes a threat. But when humans try to manufacture it, the line between protection and destruction blurs. What do you think? Should weather control be considered a weapon of war?